Hello, church. So good to be with you today. I hope you're having a great day. The weather has been beautiful for the last couple of weeks, and I'm thankful for that. I hope you caught Jason yesterday at church, either live or virtually. We're so blessed to have Jason on our team. He's a great preacher, but more than that, man, he loves our kids, and I love watching him do ministry. So anyway, we're back at you here with 1 Peter. We're in verses 8 and 9. And so it says this, he says, though you have not seen him, meaning Jesus, you love him. And even though you do not see him now, you believe in him and are filled with, and don't miss this, inexpressible and glorious joy. For you are receiving the end result of your faith, the salvation of your souls. Guys, it's a beautiful text. So I want to go back to Hebrews chapter 11 and just read to you the definition of faith. It says, now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. This is what the ancients were commended for. Paul even writes in 2 Corinthians 5:7, he says, for we live by faith and not by sight. Believing does not equal seeing. Believing does not equal seeing. And think about how counterintuitive that is to us in this world. We trust things based on what? What we can see, tangible evidence. And yet this passage has just told us we are faithful because we believe in what we cannot see. We believe in Jesus who is not there. Think about Thomas. Right after the resurrection, Jesus appears to the disciples and many others. And Thomas is out buying bread or something. He's not there. And then he comes in. And even though he can see Jesus in the room, he won't be satisfied that it's actually Jesus till what? Jesus can produce nail-scarred hands. You see, we're stuck in this mental trap of having to see to believe. You don't have to be very good with words or eloquent to convince a 5-year-old that Santa Claus exists. And yet the 5-year-old's never seen Santa Claus, is never going to see Santa Claus. But no problem for a 5-year-old to believe without seeing. And yet over time, cynicism and skepticism and all the isms attack us and we just become doubtful people. But I also want to remind us that things aren't always as they seem either, are they? Like we can look at something and make a judgment or make an assessment about something only to discover later that wasn't the truth. It wasn't who they were. It's why Jesus talks about whitewashed tombs. People that look great on the outside, but who on the inside, their soul is dead and rotten and horrible. Like, you just got to know that sometimes things aren't what they seem. So one of the things I love about this passage is it talks about being filled with inexpressible and glorious joy. What do people see when they see you? Do they see inexpressible and glorious joy? Or are you a curmudgeon, right? I mean, I just think, gosh, as Christian people, this is the proper description for us, but how many Christians do you know that look like people walking around with inexpressible, in other words, I don't have the words for it, and glorious, beyond recognition joy? It just ought to be, but it's not. I find often that sometimes I struggle with finding the right words to convey to somebody the love I have for Jesus. I can tell them, but I want to tell them in a way that impacts their life. But it's hard for me sometimes to find the right words. And I think sometimes because this thing that lives inside of me, the spirit that lives inside of me that Jesus loved me, is many times inexpressible. It's inexpressible. I've had a number of people who've come to Christ, been confronted by Christ, give their lives to them, cross over from life to death, that will tell me, I have the hardest time explaining it to other people what happened to me. This is inexpressible, glorious joy. This thing that salvation brings that can affect you like no other thing. And that you don't see it, you feel it. The Spirit allows your spirit to connect with the Holy God. I just think this text is so helpful for us to realize that seeing isn't the answer to everything, but believing is critical to seeing and knowing God. I love you so much, church. I hope that this has been helpful to you. as we've unpacked this passage. I pray that as you move through your days this week, that you will do so with eyes to see and a heart to believe. Amen. I love you so much. Have a great week. Bye.